Welcome back to Gaijin Hideout. I'm Jeff. With me, as always, is Jesse. And today we're back for more reactions to Dragon's Dogma 2. And this is, Jesse, this is our final Vocation Gameplay Spotlight trailer that we're reacting to.
Oh, okay. The Warfare, finally.
The
Yeah, I've been waiting for this
Warfare.
one.
None other than the Warfare himself. We've reacted to all the other Vocation Spotlight trailers. This one finally came out. So just as one final review. So in the first game, we had several different vocations. We had these basic ones, Fighter, Strider, Mage. We had advanced ones, Warrior, Ranger, Sorcerer. And then among the advanced ones, we also had the hybrid ones, Mystic Knight, Assassin, Magic Archer. And we've been reacting to all of these other these vocations that are now in Dragon's Dogma 2, which are slightly different. You have 4 basics. You have Fighter, Archer, Thief, and Mage. Strider's kind of been split into Thief and Archer and kind of absorbed some stuff from Assassin into each of those as well.
Yeah.
And then for the advanced ones, you have Warrior and Sorcerer and Magic Archer, which are all returning. This is a hybrid vocation, but then these 2 other hybrid vocations are Mystic Spearhand and Trickster, which we've also reacted to. And the last special vocation is Warfarer. So this is what the Warfare looks like.
Yeah, this is one I'm super intrigued about, Jeff. Just because it seems like such a fun, okay, I've played through the game. I know what to do and how to do it. And now I just really want to go crazy and do a lot of min-maxing and just stack a bunch of death into a tower that's a mile high.
Yeah, it is very interesting. And from what I understand, this is actually going to be the game's, I think this class is going to be the game's version of min-maxing or the alternative to min-maxing.
Okay, yeah.
Because we've been, I think we heard from chat and we've probably seen it online somewhere. So I believe this game does not have like stat distribution effects from different classes.
Yeah,
whereas,
that seems to be the case.
Yeah, by which I mean like, the first game, you would get into a class like, let's say, an assassin. When you level up, certain stats like your attack would get more of an increase than others. But then if you switched over to Magic Archer, that stat that got boosted more would switch to like magic defense or magic attack, something like that. In this game, the stats are generally, it seems like they're all going to be fixed and they're tied to the vocation itself. So if you're level 50, you're going to have like a certain stat distribution if you're in an archer class, and then when you it will switch. I believe it will switch. You can correct me if we're wrong, but we're like really sure. Chat said we were right earlier today. It will switch if you change it to like a warrior class. Like the stats themselves will switch based on the class.
Yeah, and I'm curious how people feel about that too, if they like that change or not. I know me personally, while I love being a little munchkin, it can be stressful at times to have to optimize to that minute of a degree. So I welcome this change, I guess.
Yeah, I like it because it's going to encourage me. I think it's giving me more permission. It's giving the obsessive part of my brain that plays these games more permission to try different things out because I don't have to think about what if I level up like 5 times and now the stats are wrong, because I've got that in my brain.
Hurts your feel your OCD just fucking hurt so bad.
Yeah, but I think this is going to be the new meta for min-maxing or like that level of like combining, customizing, optimizing things is the Warfare, because the Warfare is going to have reduced stats, but you are going to be able to use skills and weapons from other classes and combine them. So if let me read the summary here. The Warfare is a new vocation exclusive to the Arisen that can use every weapon and learn different skills from each vocation. By using diverse weapons, the Warfare can respond to any situation and create combos that cross vocational boundaries. The Warfare's lower base stats require them to utilize the situational strengths of different weapon types to be on par with other vocations with specialized strengths. So this is really going to force the lower base stats, and then I think it's like up to 3 different like vocations can be combined with their skills sets, or we're not really clear on that.
Yeah, that seems to be I think that's the case. You can only have like 3 different vocations you're stacking essentially.
So that really seems like it's going to be it's going to force the most that's going to force a lot of like ingenuity, a lot of creativity. You're going to get a lot of really interesting builds because you're going to have to, for starters, you're going to have to figure out, well, how do I like get this class as good as the other classes because the stats are reduced in this class or in this vocation, excuse me. But then that line of thinking, that train of thought, that skill set you're developing, that could probably be evolved to how can I create something truly broken? You know, I'm sure there's something insane. There's some insane combinations you can just discover and pull off. But
absolutely.
Yeah, that's our general thoughts on the vocation. Just wanted to kind of delve into that a little bit since it's an extra special one. But this is the Spotlight trailer that was put out. So let's see if we can kind of pick out what they're doing in this. You know, like there's going to be different clips. Let's see if we can kind of pick out what the Warfare combinations are. Well, we've seen this one.
Greatsword Gandalf.
That's a time-honored classic. Greatsword Gandalf is that's a strong contender right there. You'd have to reduce the stats pretty hard to kind of It's
worth it just for the cool factor, Jeff. I'll take it.
It really is. You know, that's going to make up for a lot of stat reduction, I think. Here we go. Oh, by the way, does this guy look familiar to you at all? They've used a similar model for like the Mystic Spearhand in some of the demos they've had. Let us know in the comments if you think this guy looks familiar. You know, maybe like from a prologue somewhere, maybe also an epilogue somewhere. You know,
I don't want to spoil too much.
We just beat Dragon's Dogma Dark Arisen today, so we at the time of recording. So we've been. It's just something about this is just sticking out in our minds. It just reminds us.
It looks a little familiar, Jeff. I don't know.
Yeah,
you know.
This is an interesting choice of design here. You know. Okay. Oh God. All right. Sorry, I got to back it up. The white.
Well, I missed that already.
Is this a white? Okay, so this is a spell that is being cast from down here, from this guy.
He's doing some kind of magic. He's switching.
Okay, he's got a magic bow. Oh my gosh.
Mystic Spearhand.
Okay, so we had a few different things going on there.
Interesting.
Let me see here. Back that up a little bit. It's a little grainy on this video. But let's see. So is this a white? Oh my God, that's so freaky. Look at that.
Oh, yeah,
I got it right
terrifying.
there. That's kind of crazy.
Very regal too.
Okay. I'm not sure what this is. I don't know if this just lights him up or if this does damage as well. So I'm presuming that's from a mage, like the mage class.
Yeah.
And then so we went mage. Let me just see if I can see him casting it. Well, I don't even know if I see.
He's doing something. I'm not quite sure because it cuts in there really quickly, but it looks like it's him that's doing it. I think.
Yeah, with his hand like clasping it, or is that a staff?
I don't know if he used an item or I don't know.
Maybe he used an item. And that's, I'm familiar with that. That's six-fold arrow or something like that. And then that's the Mystic Spearhand. Okay, so now we got, that's the Mystic Spearhand. So that one's, maybe there's not too much to discover there. Now this one, let's see. We're fighting a Minotaur. We've got, is this the multi-shot attack? The holy multi-shot attack, it looks like maybe.
Yeah, I think so.
I see two reticles, so. And then we switch to Greatsword. Nice. Okay.
I don't know who that is.
That's pretty simple. Pretty simple but effective. Let me go back and look at that. Let me process that. I'm a Magic Archer player, so let me see here. Because normally
this is so interesting for the ability, especially for like a class like, if you play sorcerers and stuff like that, to just dip in and out of melee combat, or like, oh, the enemy's over here taking a break, or they're down, and I can just set up a massive destruction spell on them.
Yeah, because Magic Archer had it had daggers, so I was using a lot of daggers. Well, that's a pretty quick switch. Let me see this. So that fires. Yeah, it's doable. There's a bit of a delay, but it's not that big of a delay,
No, it's pretty quick.
And it seems like you're able to attack as soon as it's out. Like that seemed like a seamless transition into an attack. Or a block, maybe? That was a block, yeah. Oh, okay, I see. Okay. He pulled it out and blocked with it, and then attacked. All right. What do we got going? Did their pawn just get thrown by the Cyclops? Is that what I just saw? You see that body falling on the right?
Oh my gosh. Ridiculous.
Okay, this guy's... Oh, yeah, we've seen this one too.
I love the levitate.
So that's interesting. So the levitate must be a skill that's
I think
tied
you get
to
that from
the
mage.
staff.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, that has to be tied to the mage staff, right? Or mage and or sorcerer, probably both. Yeah, because he's levitating here, and then he switches, and the animation goes perfectly. Like his momentum's carried through. And then what was this blade already buffed, or is this just like what kind of a blade is that? Looks like a dagger thing, right?
Yeah, it does look
or
like
a sword.
Dagger, you're right.
So daggers, I guess it's a sword. He's two-handed.
It looks like a dagger, I'm gonna say. I'm not sure though.
I feel like if it was daggers, he would two-hand them. I think they always two-hand the daggers.
That's a good point.
So that maybe that's a fighter's sword or a warrior's sword, because we saw like we've seen a warrior sword that was like a light with fire. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
So maybe
yeah, I do.
Maybe some of their swords are like kind of awesome like that. That's because that looks like an elemental damage. It's just so bright. It has to be elemental damage, right? Maybe.
Yeah.
And then he's just stabbing in there.
Yeah.
Okay,
Nice.
all right. This one's gonna get kind of dicey. So we got Mystic Spear Hand. We know Mystic Spear Hand's all about like this, like closing the gap. You know, closing the gap between people so that you can set between yourself and the enemy, so that you can set up for like a crazy combo. But instead of setting up for his crazy combos as a Mystic Spear Hand, I'm assuming he's going to switch out for something here. Well, no, he's banging on him a little bit. Okay, he's zooming in. Wow. Okay.
Jeez.
So that was a perfect transition. This was a Mystic Spear Hand move right here, I think. Not this. This. That's okay. So we understand how this works now from like our stuff,
so
right?
Powerful. Yeah.
I think that's him tagging him. Do you remember he does the blast, the electric blast that tags
he set
him?
himself up with this move.
And then he does another move.
Then
he does another move where he teleports to him. Right?
Yeah.
I think those are two separate moves. And then this is just the Helm Splitter from the Thief class, formerly of Strider.
Switches to Thief
fame in Dragon's Dogma Dark Arisen. I'm very familiar with that.
The combos are just gonna be insane.
But Jesse, that was flawless. Look at that. Like that was just. There's no. There was just a minute of time there for like the game provided you an opportunity to hit the button to do it. So these must be just mapped directly.
This is such an interesting class.
They must just be mapped.
It's like
to buttons directly.
It's
the
like
same
a
way.
custom class almost, Jeff. That's what it feels like. You can just kind of build your own class.
I wonder if you can like assign it to
your own vocation, even.
I guess you could assign it by button, just like anything else, but it's just all mixed and matched. I was just very interested to see like what the turnaround time is between like the different changes in weapons. It seems to depend on the size.
Extremely fast.
It seems to depend on the class.
Depends on the weapon. I see what you mean.
Yeah, and the weapon, like the classes the weapon's tied to, like the greatsword. I don't think you get, I don't think you get a lot of. I don't think you get any. I don't think you get around any kind of loading time, so called, for like as they're like picking up the greatsword, but that didn't seem like it was that much. The thing with like all of the combat, even the heavy like vocations, is like it doesn't seem like it's that slow. The slowest one we saw was right here, which is like this looks like a colossal sword.
Pulls that great sword out.
But even that's pretty quick. That's pretty quick.
Yeah.
As someone that was a colossal sword user in Elden Ring, that's a lot faster than other action RPGs with like a similar size.
I wonder how well this this vocation matches up with the trickster. That's something that's got me thinking.
That's such a good point, Jesse. That's such a good point because the trickster class has no damage, like no direct damage whatsoever. But
Like,
could you imagine if you had access to some of his like fuckery? That
I know it has so many
that might be what breaks this class is if you like
I think so.
if you manipulate. Oh my God, trickster and greatsword, Jesse. If you just manipulate them to like just kind of mess around a little bit, so you can line up your greatsword hits more reliably, or even you just use the trickster class. You send out your little phantom to distract them, and then you switch over. If it lets you,
you switch to sorcerer,
and you start casting like high belied.
Well, another. Like if I switch to the trickster and I set up an illusion, like an illusionary wall, is that going to stay up after I switch?
That's what I'm wondering. That's like $1 million question.
It really is. I mean, because if it does, hey, why don't I throw up that really powerful buff too? Like there's
why don't I buff myself before I cast Blind? But stuff like this was very fluid, a very fluid transition. I'm not sure why, but I was like kind of thinking like there would be maybe some like clumsy window of transition, but like you can literally do it in the air and pull off something flawless like that. And so I guess what that's telling me is that like they must be mapped to the buttons, like how you just map your skills for other classes, and then there's just a bit of a time to switch between weapons instead of a cast time or whatever, or in addition, I'm not sure. That's looking really nice, man.
Very interesting. Yeah,
it's looking very nice, very promising.
It's going to require a lot of player knowledge, I feel like, and not only that, but we still need, especially for something really cheesy like the trickster. There's still some questions unanswered. Like, does the illusion stuff stick? And what other abilities does the trickster have that can be kind of wrapped into, even further shenanigans with the Wayfarer? So I don't know. It's something definitely to keep an eye on and keep in mind as you, I feel like, go through the game and get a feel for all these other abilities, and you play around with the different vocations and how can this ability work with this other ability and so on.
You can probably like recreate other vocations too that aren't in the game anymore. Like, I can't speak for Mystic Knight too much, but for example, but Strider, like this archer based class, it now has stuff that I think the Ranger class and the Assassin class had, in addition to some of the archer, or in addition to what the bow part of the Strider, and then the Thief class has like. The dagger skills from Strider and Assassin, you could just put those together. Yeah. And maybe you get some kind of modern Strider variant that's like crazy. Because like Strider's like in Dragon's Dogma Dark Arisen, Strider's generally considered, it's a basic class, but it's considered one of the better classes, even for late game.
Oh, yeah.
We had people in chat telling us, maybe get a Strider on your team for the Everfall and stuff like that. So, yeah, I mean, there's just a lot of possibilities here, a lot of combinations, obviously. But I would say, like, my main takeaway is stuff like this right here. That, like, really makes me interested in it more than it being, like, a gimmick or something kind of silly. I feel like
this looks awesome. I want to do this class after I've felt out all the other classes. I've gotten deep into the game. I've got a lot of player knowledge, and man, with this, I feel like if you have the right information, you can really just kind of go crazy. There's still unanswered questions, but we'll see.
Yeah, and just knowing that this class exists, that is combined with the fact that the stats are tied to the vocation, so there's no risk really in switching back and forth. This is making me like extra motivated to go out and get that information on all the different classes, like play them all. Max them all out if I can.
That's a great point, Jeff.
Like that really feels like beyond just like, it doesn't feel like it's like, I'm trying to cram in all the different experiences into the same playthrough. It's like, I could like, I could see myself getting to a final build in the game where like I'm using a Warfare. It's very unique to myself, and I've tried all these other different classes, and I've just found the best combination of stuff that works for me. And
Yeah, all your class experience, your vocation experience, it's just going to accumulate possibly into this one kind of like stacked monstrosity of a vocation. You know, it
and that
doesn't necessarily have to go to waste.
that would really just be the ideal experience for me is if I'm really able, I know it's a tall order, but if I'm really able, because the world's so big and everything, if I'm really able to just try out every different vocation and then settle into, maybe like settle into a few, by mid game that I like, and then settle into a Warfare build to like beat the game. Like, I'm just praying. I'm praying that like the breadth of the side missions and the open world like matches the breadth of the, at least matches the breadth of the, vocations available, because that would be a truly amazing like playthrough for me if I could just take my sweet time. I don't want to binge like the game, like
You just
grind
want
the
to
story.
enjoy it. I mean,
Like if
this
I
game
can go
is- it's
if I
been-
can go super wide in terms of like I'm doing this side quest with the thief, I'm doing this side quest with the archer, I'm doing this, and I'm just all in the first area or something. I'm not progressing very far, and if I can just take it super wide and then slowly get deeper over time, that's going to be like the best game I've ever played. Honestly, like that would make this like the best game I've ever played. I think if I could really.
And
do that.
another question I have, Jeff, is this its own vocation that's gonna gain in ranks, or by playing this, are you going to be able to still level up your other vocations?
That's a good question. That's I wonder what like kind of I feel like this is the kind of game where they would keep it like with ranks, but I don't I'm curious like what it would be. Like maybe the stats the stat reduction like diminishes like as you level up, or maybe maybe they only let you pair two types of skills together or something at first, and then you unlock another.
It's so interesting.
It would be interesting to see.
Interesting.
The sigil that they use for it on the website is extra special, so it could be something like custom like that.
Yeah. And as like a mage player, a sorcerer player, this is especially intriguing to me because it's not like I don't like to swing a big sword. I just like to swing meteorites and stuff as well. So the chance to just really stack the overpowered is so exciting to me.
Yeah. I think after seeing this and seeing like stuff like the change from the Mystic Spear Hand to the daggers, and that's kind of something that sells it for me. Just like how the sorcerer greatsword combo that probably sold it for Jesse. I could see this being my final destination for sure.
Likewise.
But so. That's basically our reaction to the Warfare and the this Vocation Spotlight trailer. Let us know what you think about the Warfare. Are you interested in this class? And if so, what or vocation? I keep saying class. You know what I mean. Vocation. And if so, what skill combinations are you going for? What vocation combos did you have in mind? Because I know we have some very, very experienced Dragon's Dogma players, and I'm sure they've got, when you've got hundreds or thousands even of hours in the game, I'm sure you guys have got all kinds of interesting combinations. Would love to hear what you're planning on experimenting with, and just lay it out for us in the comments. We'd love to hear about it. But yeah, thanks so much for watching. If you're new here, we'd appreciate it if you dropped a like on the video. We suggest subscribing for more videos. It's free. And our main thing is we're streamers. We live stream every Saturday, 3 p.m. EST. We just do a big Dragon's Dogma stream. Last Saturday, that was it was actually earlier tonight when we were recording this. We beat Dragon's Dogma Dark Arisen. So this next Saturday, we're going to be playing Dragon's Dogma 2 when it comes out. So we're going to be trying this out.
I'm so excited.
I am too, man. it's gonna be
Oh,
a blast. We're gonna be trying all kinds of stuff, probably different vocations if it'll let us switch early on. We're gonna just get lost in the game. So we'd love to have you join us. We go about 5.5, 6 hours. We do like a big stream. We'd love to have you in chat. Had a huge chat last week. It was great community. So, but yeah, that's it. Thanks for watching. Peace out.
see you.